All right, we are live and in action. So everybody, this is a very, very special group here. You are looking at some of AnnieMac's finest, most professional, friendly, big-hearted gentlemen. And I'm very blessed to bring you not only the strategies, the talent, the why behind the production. Branch managers, area leaders, senior vice presidents. I mean, we're talking people that are leading an organization. And these are the faces behind, some of the top producers at AnnieMac that also are representing their clients, their referral partners. And there is so much care and heart and love that goes into the business. And one thing I adore most about this group is the fact that these guys will give you the recipe to their success. They're not going to harbor everything in and keep it to themselves. They want to see you grow, whether you're at the AnnieMac family or not. This is a masterminding roundtable panel for all of you, producers, loan officers, branch managers. If you're a processor, if you're an underwriter, if you're a loan partner watching this, or if you're just somebody that, wants to be inspired and maybe, hi Dad, maybe you're watching. We definitely appreciate the attention and questions, comment, dig in with us and we'll lean into you and we'll share the best of our ability what's, worked really well for us. So let's go around a little bit, starting with Mr. Greg Clark. Greg, just give a shout out to where you're from, how long you've been at AnnieMac, your position, a little bit about you.
Yeah, guys, appreciate you having me on the show. I've been with AnnieMac about 8.5 years. My branch is located in Wilmington, Delaware. We had a record-breaking year, as I'm sure all the panelists here can share today. We broke $200 million as a branch, which was a really lofty goal that we had set earlier this year, but we were able to meet that. We have great staff. We owe it all to our processing and operations team and all the available tools made available to us at AnnieMac Home Mortgage. So we're looking forward to bigger and better things in 2021, and I'm really happy to be part of the team.
Woo! My gosh, amazing, Greg. I'm so happy you could be here, and thanks for leading the way you do. Mr. Bauer, you're up.
Yes, hi. So Mike Bauer. I have a partner, Steve Stelzman, and I run the Allentown, Pennsylvania branch. We've been with AnnieMac since I think 2013, and yeah, great year, challenging year for everyone, but the volume was insane, and we're happy to be here.
Very cool. No, Mike dominating the Lehigh Valley, #1 market share. It's incredible to see you guys in action, and I love bringing people to your team. Mr. Dolan and Landy, you guys, two co-branch managers, you guys got the floor.
Yeah, so Landy and I, we have a few different teams. North Jersey primarily, we have a really awesome team that we're starting down in South Florida. Yeah, kind of ditto to what these guys said, great year so far. Definitely looking to continue the journey, and happy to be a part of an organization that can share these numbers and best practices one another, and just keep raising the bar.
Oh, you're muted, my friend. The famous quote of 2020.
Wait, no, I'm talking now. Can you hear me now? We've been with AnnieMac since August of 2012, and it's been a tremendous ride. A lot of our peers are here on this call that have been here for a while along with us, and the company has grown. And we've, while had some growing pains, we've all really catapulted our businesses to the next level. I mean, we came into this year hoping to do, 250 million, moderate, growth from our production last year. And we're over the 300 mark. So huge milestone for us, and sky's the limit. So happy to be here.
Yeah, by the way, just for the record, Landy doesn't have a really good barber. I took a black Sharpie and painted his beard on this morning. So I'll take credit for that as well. Thank you.
There's the jealousy setting in. The jealousy setting in.
It's just protruding out. You look good, though. You look good.
That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you. Mr. Filial down in the y'all states. What's going on, my friend?
In the y'all states. What's up? What's up? Go Gators. So listen, I'm the new kid on the block, right? AnnieMac coming up for 3 years, and just totally humbled and honored to be on this panel, and for you guys to just embraced us and welcomed us and make us feel like family from day one, really, and just so giving. And I know I can call anybody on this panel or anybody in AnnieMac Nation, and they're there ready to jump in. And that culture and that spirit is what sets us apart more than anything else. So in the y'all states, as Kelsey mentioned, basically the Southeast United States, looking to grow and just continue to build. Got an awesome team, crushed 2020. Looking forward to just see what we do in 2021, and super excited and happy to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, we love having you. Not to mention, you came in doing 80 million. You're going to exceed 300 million, and we are on a road to $1 billion. So, I appreciate everything you've taught me, the mentorship, and your team is lights out. Mr. Vince, the best for last. So, Vince Ingui, Senior Vice President. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, it's great to honored, of course, to be with this group. Not only are these our top branches and top leaders in the company, but some of my best friends within the company as well. As a matter of fact, I was kicking Greg's butt last night playing some cards and poker. So, but what's been great is just to see the professional and personal growth for everyone in this group. I mean, for me personally, Greg and I came over together in 2012. We had my own company, brought that to AnnieMac basically as a branch, and we were a company then doing about 700 million in volume roughly, and to close out now 2020 over 4.5 billion. And with basically the 5 gentlemen on this group, and you, Kelsey, responsible for over $1 billion of that. It's just been amazing to see, and it's been a fun ride. And I think what I hope everybody can appreciate is that not only is this group care about the business, their clients, their referral partners, and passionate about it, but they're just really great people and a lot of fun. We have a ton of fun and a lot of humor and a lot of funny text exchanges and groups and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, like we're all in the mortgage business, right? You want to be surrounded by people that you love their company, you respect them, and I can't say enough great things about this group in particular.
Vince, I love it. And I think one of the biggest things too is it's a family. And whenever someone joins us, they're always like, wow, like to be a part of that and to have that support. And that's coming from your leadership, right? You're steering the ship, you're at the helm, and everybody here on this Facebook Live has reaped the rewards of a lot of success set up by AnnieMac U. So let's dig into some of this. So one of the biggest things that people say to me a lot is, I want to be able to double, triple, quadruple my business, but how do I get the time to do that, right? I'm going to sacrifice time with my family, time with, my kids, and more minutes, more hours in my personal day. How is it possible? So Vince, I'm going to let you lead the first topic on how some of these groups have the non-originating branch manager title and some have the branch manager title, and how they made that transition. Yeah,
that's a great topic. And I think at the end of the day, in order to scale your business, right, and in order to grow it, and at the same time, have that work-life balance, right, to be able to, so it's not a grind, you can actually enjoy what you're working for. You've got to surround yourself with the right people, obviously, and the right team. The devil naturally happens to be, in the details. But what we like about the non-originating model is that basically, when we say non-originating, let's be clear, the non-originating branch managers are still producing, right? They're not originating in terms of taking an application or running a credit report or pricing out a loan. They have someone in their back office on their team that's handling that for them. But what that's done is it opens up the opportunity for them to go out and, one, support their team, and then two, get out there and produce and really make it rain. So I know, for example, when Kevin and Landy basically started, behind you guys, I think started about 6 months, from when we first started, and came in both actually as originators. And we were almost forced in a way early on to sort of switch from originating branch managers to non-originating branch managers because of the regulation and what happened with with some of the compensation laws back then. So in a way, we were some of us were forced into it. But I know Kevin and Landy from that moment on, hired, guys, if you recall, that it's one of the first hires you made, which started to sort of help you propel your business, was Taylor Plesh, right? We talk about, having that support person in place, and kind of what really started to allow you guys to begin to scale and be at your highest and best use. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about, what went into that hire and how that sort of set the table for your growth moving forward?
Yeah, I'll start. I think early on, too, it's a matter of trying to just handle everything that's in front of you, every role that has to do with in the loan process, and that was only going to get us so far. So when you're just talking about growth and scaling your business, we knew that we weren't going to be able to go much further than what we were doing anyway. So getting a loan partner and getting a person involved in that was really that first ingredient to understanding how to just deviate those tasks out and delegate them to having the support to us at that time. And, it started with Taylor, and then, you kind of see what one person can handle and where the needs kind of evolve from there. And obviously today the staff has grown tremendously from there. But I think, like to your point, when you're not originating branch manager, you have to have a key person to kind of funnel that business to. So, you find a good loan officer. And at the time, Taylor was brand new. So it was nice because there was no bad habits. He basically learned tooth and nail from Landy and I. So stylistically, after 6 months, a year, he sounded like us on the phone. He had the same, went about this the way we would have done something, and it just worked out. And then that model was obviously laid out for us where we could repeat it going forward. So Landy, speak on that too.
Yeah, so Taylor was the loan partner before we had loan partners. It was really having that person that you could trust to make sure that the loans were getting taken care of. And for us initially, being originators, just true salespeople, you think, and I think that's the learning curve for most people that come in. It says, no one's going to handle it the way I can handle it. No one can take care of the client. No one can speak to the realtor. No one can do what I do the way that I do it. And I think that for us, we were fortunate enough to learn that early on in our career with AnnieMac. And when we thought we were busy, doing 20 deals, we couldn't have gotten to the levels that we've gotten to without implementing that strategy, just the mindset of highest and best use, and getting those people on your team that can do some of the heavy lifting for you, so that you can bring in more. So as a non-originating branch manager, I think that's key to making that system work for you, is building that team under you, and obviously with the ability for them to scale as well. So there's a lot to gain from it versus babysitting that pipeline, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges that most loan officers have.
Yeah, and shout out to Taylor Plesh too. He's a monster. 8 years later, a monster. This guy sells better than us nowadays. So shout out to Taylor.
That's awesome. I mean, you guys are major executors and implementers, and the way that you have poured into other people, it's amazing. Landy, you said, back when you were doing 20 units a month, what did your growth, like where are you averaging now? And kind of what did that path look like as far as numbers go?
Right. So, initially it was, Kevin and I had, we had a dream, right? We had this vision. It said like, we were running a pretty big operation, and, said, the purchase game is where it is. And, you know, you thought you were going to have, you know, this big group follow you, and it ended up, you know, it's me and him in the kitchen table kind of figuring it all out. And he said, you know, we want to do 20 deals. You know, it was just me and him originating. We had a few lower producing loan officers that did come along, but it was 20 deals. And then, you know, said, let's figure out how to do 30. And then when we shed tears at 50, and then, you know, 70 and 80, you know, so now we're, you know, 120, 140. That's like, you know, oh, it's a regular month, 140, 130. You know, we're blessed. I mean, I think that the structure has evolved. I think, you know, Kev, you can speak to it. I think it's grown faster than we thought it would, but the same concepts, you know, the same foundation, another loan partner, just building, you know, around the people that need it to sustain their production. So yeah, I mean, in 8 years, if you asked us 8 years ago, hey, you guys going to be doing 120, 130 loans a month for 40 and 50 million a month, I would never, I would never think that would be a reality.
Such an awesome accomplishment, guys. And, you know, I was with you there in the very beginning, and I've seen it. I've had a front row seat, you know, to that growth. And I think, you know, one thing that a lot of folks on this call in particular, and those that have had success at AnnieMac, you guys are all executors, right? You're all implementers, right? You see an idea that you believe in, and you're always the first ones to implement it. And, you know, it's a constant work in progress, right? It wasn't like you hire Taylor and then you hire the next guy and it builds it. You're constantly working on that. You're constantly refining the process. You're, you know, honing in those sales skills. You're looking for Taylor 2.0, right? And, you know, you continue to work it. And whether it's on the non-originating side, I know Mike Bauer is representing our originating branch managers. Actually, if you look at, you know, our top 10, top 15 branches, there's a pretty good mix there. And I think it really falls on what's sort of the best structure that fits you. It's certainly not a one size fits all, but certainly the common theme with this group is the ability to execute. At the end of the day, is to constantly focus on having yourself at your highest and best use, right? And so, Mike, maybe you want to talk a little bit about from an OBM standpoint, sort of what's been the catalyst, you know, for you and Steve's growth, and what if, you know, you've had those moments, I know, where just like you kind of hit a ceiling, hit a ceiling, and then boom, break through it again. If you talk about those and what's some key elements that have been there for you.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we never, Steve and I always, you know, got into this business as originators, and it's always been what we love. It's definitely our passion, and doing loans. And so we never got away from that. I know that there's another model that, you know, you could be a non-originating branch manager, but we always just stuck with the originator, you know, thing. So, you know, I'm not sure pros and cons. We do prefer this model, and you know, I talked to Carl White at our summit a couple years ago, and you know, I was kind of stuck for 20 years at like a good number. I was doing like 40 million a year for probably 20 years. And then I just couldn't break through that. And then, you know, Carl got all excited. It was like, well, I know why. I was like, oh, tell me. And, you know, going through his, you know, team building and all that, the principles and the systems that the mortgage marketing animals provided, and AnnieMac introduced me to that. You know, immediately the next year went from 40, which I could never break through, to, you know, 51, and then this year 77. And I couldn't, no matter what, do more than 40, because that's all personally I was capable of doing. I couldn't do any more than that. But I've built a great team around me. The longest person, Abby, has been with me for a while, and she's, you know, my right-hand man, and she does so much for me that it allows us to keep going. And, you know, wouldn't be able to get there without a great team behind us, great processor, Trish, and everybody. So.
Yeah, no, really well said, Mike. You know, you're the focus on the team, right? And then I know there was some of those little things too that you kind of implemented in, like the database marketing and some of the other things that were sort of like, why wasn't I doing that, right? Or why didn't I have, you know, why wasn't I sort of taking advantage of that more? But it's that constant looking to get better, right? Looking to find those little things.
Yeah, just a quick add to that. So I've always been someone who marketed to my database to some degree, but the tools that our marketing department has taken our database and just taken it to a completely new level, and that definitely has made the phone ring. You know, some days I'm like, can you please turn this off, because I cannot. It's ringing too much, which is a great problem to have. But
organic growth, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's obviously, that's been huge this year. And you know, for those folks that aren't from AnnieMac, we have a proprietary system we call FunnelIQ internally that basically is a virtual assistant that works on your behalf, and then we pair that together with our sales boomerang, which is a data intelligence technology, and the two of those working together, you know, when when someone's credit score goes up, you know when someone is out there getting their credit report run, you know when they're listing their home, you know when something in their life is changing, and then to have an automated sort of follow-up system that is, you know, on your behalf, sending text messages, sending voicemails on your behalf, sending emails, sending video messages on your behalf, where you're not actually having to physically do it, has been an absolute game changer. That's what some of what Mike was referring to, which has been huge for this entire group, you know, this past year. But speaking of mortgage marketing animals, you know, the new kid on the block, Robert, you know, was who really introduced us all, you know, to Carl, and came in, and you know, these guys have all been veterans, and technically I guess Robert's a veteran now, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe Robert is the top dog.
He came in on his horse.
So we got you know, he didn't really have a Jersey haircut when he first came over. He wasn't going to the same barber that Landy and I, you know, typically frequent, but we got him there. We definitely got him there. So Robert,
it's a transition. It's a transition.
Yeah.
Can't do it all that, you know, baby steps.
They're gonna have me saying like "use guys" or something before it's all done, right? And I was telling them, Vince, before you got on, I missed my last barber appointment. I was traveling, so I'm a little poofy. I got one coming on Monday, so
tighten that up.
Yeah, you know, the Freedom Mortgage Marketing Animals changed my life, right? And what I hear is you guys are just experiencing massive growth from being introduced and kind of implementing and running. So I think I get a small percentage of all of that. So I'll send you guys my address. You can send me a check and shoot me some Venmo. We'll be all square and all good. I think that it's you know, important to just highlight for everyone listening and just reiterate the things that you guys have already said in regards to team building, right? I think we get caught up on it's got to be me, and no one can do it as good as me, and they want to talk to me. The fact of the matter is we're not as important as we think we are, and building the team and putting those pieces in place are the only way to really 10x your growth. You just don't have enough capacity, enough time otherwise. There's a lot of places out there who don't have this vision and this focus for loan officers and for managers and for offices to grow. They look at it totally backwards, and we have this conversation a lot, right? They look at that loan partner as an expense, and people can run up into challenges, or they look at it as a if-then situation. If you get to 10 units or 15 units, then we're going to give you the help. Well, how the hell do you get to the units without the help? So it's amazing and refreshing to be with a company who looks at it what I feel is the correct way. That loan partner, that support is a profit center, right? And it just, incoming tide rises all ships. It helps us all. And we've got to give you the help to get there instead of expecting you to get there and then give you the help. That's totally backwards. So totally refreshing, and it's been instrumental in our success and our growth. And once you get the foundation there, then it's just building levels, right? And it's easy to replicate once you have the foundation in place. So we've got that blueprint and that model, and happy to share it with anyone out there, and just watch your business soar as a result.
And just so our audience knows, Robert's got people in Texas, Mississippi, South Carolina, Florida, and really expanding. And his strength is being able to support even from a distance. In fact, all of these guys are very capable. And, that kind of leads me into wanting to discuss some of your niches, right? You guys have angled your positions and your paths really creatively, very intentionally, and use the AnnieMac platform and also some of your own creatives to do it. And then people have copycatted what you've done and replicated it. And that's what this is all about, right? So Greg, if you could dig just briefly into you're number 3 on Zillow in the nation and number 1 in Delaware. For you, the testimonials and the pudding, right? You've managed to really expose that. Can you share your process for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, about 6-7 years ago, I was, having a lazy Sunday watching football, and I saw my very first Zillow commercial before Zillow was Zillow, before any of us really knew what their platform was about. And I kind of had a revelation, the light bulb went off, and I thought to myself that, this is where the business is going. People want convenience. Our clients want to get things at the touch of, the keyboard, so to speak. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to get on this train. I'm going to retroactively go back and elicit as many reviews as I can from past clients to my Zillow page to help further, push my name out there, if you will, and get followers that way. So, in the first month, I was able to elicit about 50 reviews. Over 3 months, over 150 reviews, and today, over 700. And it's been really good for my business from a number of facets. Number one, it gets me visibility clearly on the Zillow, but also in other forms of social media. Number two, it gives me validity with my clients, especially the clients that I have not yet met. I can refer back to my Zillow page. I direct them to those reviews. I always leave a response to every review that comes through. I feel like if people are going to take the time to leave me a review, I should probably take the time to leave a response. And, it just really catapulted my business to the next level. And, through those reviews, I've gotten a lot of future business. I'm known now. I've got my name out there. And, all the reviews, Kelsey, that we get, I post on various forms of social media. So it's really helped just enhance my profile. It's helped enhance the branding of our branch. I've been an ambassador to the company as a whole by doing this, and it's been a really great thing.
Well, obviously, your numbers don't lie, right? And that's probably, I think, one of the biggest testimonies to our success is that year-over-year growth. No one has been stagnant on this call. No one's plateaued. It's been constant growth with or without the refi boom. You guys still year over year have grown, and almost all of you have been at AnnieMac 5+ years. And, I know you're just getting started. Vince, you want to take it away into maybe some of the recruiting topics, market expansion, market share?
Sure, absolutely. And the word on the street too, guys, is that Greg might be moving into the TikTok world. So I'm not sure how Zillow is now going to transition into, what do they do? The dances like this with the TikTok?
I'm going to give it a shot here. Vince and I were playing poker last night, and my brother-in-law, who actually did he was the DJ for our sales summit last week. He's the typical.
That was your cousin?
My brother's brother-in-law. I call him my brother-in-law just for the sake of simplicity. But yeah, he's the true millennial, and he was talking about all the different possibilities of me getting on TikTok to further enhance my business. And hey, you know what? I'm open to that. People respond in different ways and different age brackets and demographics and so forth. So we'll see. We'll give it a shot.
We don't want any shower song videos coming out, Greg.
Yeah,
oh, man, come on, you're taking my thunder. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the ingenuity there, but I'd probably pump the brakes a little bit on TikTok if I were you. I'm just saying.
All right, fair enough.
If it wasn't outlawed before, it will be after that.
That's great. So yeah, from all right, let's get back on track. Sorry, I had to, but Yeah, no, I know that. I know Kevin and Landy. We talk about niches before we get into recruiting. I know, everyone sort of finds what their differentiator is, right? And then I think again, another thing that's been awesome with this group is you've gone deep on it. Kevin, Landy, you want to talk a little about just a quick word about how you use renovation and sort of how that particular niche really helped, catapult you guys.
Sure. Had a conversation with Kelsey not too long ago about this topic, but we're big on campaigning things that are just unique or not something that everyone else is talking about. So not just with rental, anything, we're always looking for what that next topic's going to be, or just ways to kind of stand out and things of value, of course. So years ago that was one of the things we grabbed onto, and we just found that no matter what, rental loans have been around since the dinosaurs of mortgages, but it seems to continue to be a huge void. Go back to, salespeople not really wanting to sell things that they don't know well, or when things get too intricate or complex, or at least that they think they are, they typically shy away from them. That seemed to have been the trend in our market. And on top of that too, it's also from a realtor standpoint, a topic of war stories, because when they're not handled correctly, they can really be atrocious and leave a really foul taste in someone's mouth. So, when you combined a lack of salespeople wanting to promote them and market full of realtors that think that they can't be done correctly, we just saw opportunity there. And at first it started with just wanting to talk about it and educate our local estate and market on it until it actually became, something that was making the phones ring. And then we're like, all right, well, let's do these things, And I think the biggest accolade that came from Reno as a niche from us outside of tangible revenue and closed production is that we were able to put some continued education credits to some curriculums that were created, and we've been able to really draw huge audiences of real estate agents in some very big events that we've thrown. And Andy and I look back every now and then and we're like, this agent, that agent, this agent, people are of referring agents today. And we could go back and literally say, we met that person at this Reno event. We met that agent at this Reno event 5, 6, 7 years ago. So it just goes to show, if you find the right topic and bring value to, the industry in some way, shape, or form, and identify yourself as an expert in something, you really can gain some valuable relationships. The Reno business was a piece of it, but the other business gained from those relationships has certainly outweighed the actual Reno individual business that we had got. So definitely became a feather in our cap. We definitely are known in our area as experts in it now, and we get random calls from lenders and realtors. Like, we hear you guys are great at it, so it's just it's gone really well for us, and it just became a niche product for us. So for sure, it's definitely something that we hold kind of near and dear to us. Let Land kind of chime in if I missed anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it best. It was, an identity that we created for ourselves as, experts in that area. We would prospect to offices that, we didn't have a chance to get a piece of business from, because there were long-lasting relationships in those offices with other lenders. And, we would specifically say, it's Reno that we want to talk about. We don't want to talk about any other business. That's our niche. We'll do those other loans too if you need, but this is what we feel like you're missing the boat on. Let us bring value to you. And again, like to reiterate what Kevin said, we have long-lasting relationships from Reno events where you had agents come in wanting to learn about that specific product. Who had relationships with other lenders, and we're still doing business today. So the message there being, find something that no one else is talking about, or even if it is Reno, it's still a viable product. It's still underutilized. It's still something that can open doors for you. In our opinion, I mean, it's one of the things that it's needed in every market. Now more than ever, it's being underutilized, or no one's even talking about it because everybody's so busy. It's not, it's known as being cumbersome or too much work. And believe me, it'll pay dividends if you give it the attention that it deserves.
It's awesome. I know it's done wonders for your business, and you guys have also been instrumental for us internally, at AnnieMac, to make sure that that back office, is great and can support a salesperson, right? Because every lender can do reno, but ultimately to really execute at a high level and to provide that service, you can win that relationship and wow that realtor. You need to have the processors, the underwriter, the draw management team, all those other pieces, behind you. I know you guys were really instrumental also, not just on going out there and leading and creating that differentiator and branding yourselves that way, but also even helping the organization get to a level of excellence in terms of service, which is also brought back. I think that's also another common theme here, Kels, with this entire group, is the service. Is really just the focus on service. I mean, you can't miss purchase closing dates. You can't, because it's like I used to quote all the time, Janet Jackson, right? What have you done for me lately? That's the world that we live. That's the world that we live in. And we're only as good as the last loan that we did. And that's how we're remembered. You're only as good as that feeling at the closing table, right? No matter how many times you did it, how many times you came through, that last experience was the one that's going to stay with people. And I know everybody takes that very, very seriously here on this call, and that's a huge reason, for the success. But if we could maybe turn the page now and look forward, right, to 2021. We went through, good Lord, the 2020. I mean, this is going to be a year that's going to live in infamy for all of us, and we're all going to remember it for so many different reasons. But one sort of good kept secret outside of the mortgage world is that we just had this incredible opportunity this past year to do more business and volume than we've ever seen before. But I think most people that you talk to will agree that, moving forward, we're not going to have the same, tailwind behind us. More than likely, we may have a headwind. And how are we going to navigate through that water and through those times? We've been through those before. We've been through those times before. This is a cyclical business. We're all coming off of our best year, but what are we going to do now differently, or what are we going to focus more on in 2021? And refinances may, they may keep going, but there will be a time. It could be March, it could be September, it could be 2022, but there will be a time where the refinance volume that we have now is no longer here. So what are we all doing, right, to make sure that we're putting ourselves in a position, because nobody wants that paycheck to go backwards, right? Once you hit, Bauer, once you went from 40 million to 50 to 70, you don't want to go back to 40, right? So what are we doing now, going into this new year to separate ourselves, or to put ourselves in that position? I think as managers, of course, it starts with the purchase business, and it starts with recruiting, and I know that everyone on this call had some success this past year in recruiting. So whoever wants to sort of talk about some of that, Kelsey obviously has been a big part in helping the team and our business development team as a whole. But I would love to talk about, where our focus and our strategy looks like here in 2021.
Yeah, I'll jump in, Vince.
Great.
I mean, I think that's a very hot topic right now. And I think we got to take it back a step to really understand and embrace some of the differences between the AnnieMac Nation and culture and maybe some of the other players in the market, right? Because it all starts with response to an ever-changing environment is what I believe, right? We all got thrown this humongous curveball that is COVID or Corona or the Rona, whatever you want to call it, that we all had to adapt and deal with out of totally unexpected, right? And then subsequent to that was this crazy refi boom and more volume and more business than we've ever seen, and just crushing capacity levels and really breaking the system, right? I mean, breaking the fulfillment system that all these companies have built. So you look at that and you say, okay, well, what did your company do in response to that? Did they, just indefinitely push out turn times? Did they stop taking refinances? Because that happened with some companies. Did they jack your pricing up to where you had loans that you just couldn't sell and you couldn't bring the business in? Or did they roll up their sleeves and say, let's go get it, and double their operations staff in a matter of 6 weeks to give the capacity and the fulfillment there so you can keep bringing deals in and rock it out? And if they did do that, which is what we did, which, I think was amazing and sets us apart. If they did that, what happens in the future as we go into 2021 and maybe we lose $1 billion or $1 trillion overall, right? That's the projection. The market's going to pull back about 25%. So what happens now that we have all of this fulfillment and ops staff? Well, the answer for us is we recruit. We go and we share our vision and this passion and the differentiators between us and the other people out there on the streets, and how we can plug into your business and give you that leadership and that guidance and the tools that lead to 82% of originators joining us, doubling their business in the first year. And even though the refi volume may pull back, we have the opportunity to bring new LOs in with their purchase business, and we're going to fill that capacity gap and just be really poised well to crush 2021 with industry-leading turn times, right? So it's a pretty easy call as a recruiter, as a leader, when I call an originator who their company didn't take those proactive steps to get ahead of that curve, that change, and they're struggling with 90, 120-day turn times. They can't call on realtors because they don't have the confidence and the swagger that they're going to be able to bring the business in and get the deal closed on time. And I'm saying, hey, look, we can fix this. And here's where our turn times are, and this is what our capacity looks like. And you bring those deals in, and we're going to get them closed. That's a pretty easy conversation, right? And it makes sense for them. And like you can almost see the moment when a little light bulb clicks. I love sharing stories. Right? Our business is one of relationships and stories, and we have so many examples, time and time again, of literally lives that we've changed because of our culture and our platform, and it's a humbling and awesome experience. We have an originator we just brought on who is with a large national mortgage company who had, honestly, just broken ops, right? Brought her on October 30th, and she got her first clear to close yesterday on the 19th, right? And she called me almost in tears. She's like, I'm totally blown away. You said it, and it's not that I didn't believe it. Now seeing it, I can only imagine what's going to happen to my business in 2021. That's my passion. That's pretty awesome to be able to bring that to the table.
That's a tremendous story. I know exactly what you're talking about. We'll keep that name nameless for now, but that's a great way to sort of articulate that, Robert, in terms of what we've been through and what it's going to take, right? To move forward. Talk, if you don't mind, Robert, just to piggyback on that. Talk a little bit about what you've done to your team and what you've enhanced from a business development standpoint, and where your focus is from a recruiting standpoint now. Going into 2021, you had a good year. You brought on about 50 million or so of new production in 2020. Congratulations to that. I know you've got goals to do more in 2021. What are you doing to double down and to sort of keep the pedal to the metal there?
Yeah. So thanks for the accolades. About 50 million in new production, and I think it's a dual prong approach as we look to grow business. We do, Kelsey mentioned it earlier. In my region, we have the build to $1 billion goal, right? To get to $1 billion in the next 5 years. I just coined that, Kelsey, the other day, so I'm going to trademark that. The build to $1 billion.
Hashtag send it to the internet.
Hashtag send it out there. That's the push. That's the goal, and it's two pronged. So it's bringing in the new originators, kind of saving them, if you will, from maybe broken systems or lack of leadership, lack of vision, the inability to build teams and scale up. But it's also working with our originators who are already plugged in and growing their business, right? It's taking those LOs who have grasped the vision and taking them from 6 million to 20 million, which we did with an LO this year, or 18 million to 50 million, which we did with an LO this year. So we've really doubled down and said this is our passion and our focus. We have increased our ops staff, I think, double this year to have the capacity and the support. And then we brought in an in-branch, we call her a recruiter. I like to call her a matchmaker, in-branch matchmaker that's looking for opportunities to help those originators who want to up-tier their business and take it to the next level, to see if it makes sense for us to partner together and if we can get farther together than separate. So just that gives us our national biz dev team, Kelsey and crew. They do a amazing job. But it's like everything else in our business, right? Capacity comes into play. Kelsey is one amazing rock star, but there's only so many phone calls she can make in a day. So we've added Gina Grebinger, who's fantastic and amazing to the team, and She's going to be focusing on helping us build the the more mortgage group out to that build to $1 billion in the Southeast. And, that's a commitment we've made. It's exciting to see where it's going to go in 2021.
That's incredible. And I know Gina is super stoked. And, it's seeing each of you really delegate. And I think a big pattern along when it comes to growth, it's realizing we can't take it all on and we can't wear all the hats and we need to scale. I think one of the biggest things in recruiting too, if I could say that we've had success with, is hiring loan partners, loan officer assistants for our people, because a lot of loan officers, they're good at getting the business, but it's capacity, it's more minutes, more time, more hours. And our loan officer assistant model, our hands team, as I like to call it, really it hits on a lot of those points where producers are stuck in those weeds. I like to say you're in the forest, in the trees, versus working on your business. You're in your business. And I think that's definitely a commonality between all of you. And recruiting really does take some TLC, right? You gotta nurture, you gotta love on people, you gotta listen, you gotta have multiple calls, you have to have patience. And for someone that's a manager or a loan officer trying to build a team, they're 2 full-time jobs.
That's excellent point. And again, I think having the support there in place makes all the difference in the world. But the reality is, when you're a manager, you just said it, Cal, so I just want to just accentuate it. You're working on your loans, you're managing your loan officers, you're dealing with your referral partners, you're managing your pipeline, deal structuring, etc. By the time you get to recruiting, it's usually 6, 7, 8 down the list, and we all know it needs to be 1, 2, because at the end of the day, what's gonna drive in more income and more revenue? It's more deals, right? And it's more loan officers that are selling deals. And anyone else want to talk about their 2021 focus? Maybe piggyback on Robert here on the recruiting biz dev front, some things that you're looking forward to into next year, what your business plans look like.
Yeah, Dan, I can jump in here real quick. I'm a non-originating branch manager, and in the last 12 months, we've hired 3 loan partners that are licensed to kind of go under me. And, putting people in positions of power, I know that all 3 of them will be on their own soon enough. But it's nice because sometimes the transition into the mortgage world is not the easiest one to make. And if you can take somebody under your wing and kind of show them the ropes and get them going with some of your own business to feed them until they get up going on their own, it's a great thing to see. To piggyback that into 2021, that's kind of been our model, is to bring in folks that are newer to the business. We want to recruit active loan officers as well, of course, but have a training ground for them, if you will, and not kind of just throw them to the wolves. So it's been a great thing. Just in the last year, we've seen Steve Janoka, who's one of our loan partners, do over 50 million. Amanda did over 30. It's a really, really great thing to see. Some people are hesitant to take that next step because they realize that they'll probably take a step backward initially, but under our model, that hasn't happened. In fact, we've grown exponentially. So I think it's just putting people in the position of power, learning to trust others, and growing upon the business that way.
And that's saying a lot coming from Greg, because I know, Greg, you're a little bit of a control freak, and you have a way of doing things, and that's a compliment, because you expect a high level, of service and communication, because that's what's made you successful. I know that you struggled a little bit, in letting go of some of that, early on, but when you finally did, and you trusted people, and now I hear you saying empower people, I think it's tremendous. So I know a lot of times, we all say we want to do that, but that's one of the hardest things to do. And I know you struggle through that, but you've seen the benefits. Yeah,
I mean, you're exactly right. It wasn't even that I didn't trust in others. It's almost as if I didn't trust in myself to trust others. And, it took me a while to kind of get over that initial hump, but you can't be everywhere at once. As Robert said, with Kelsey's calls, she can only make so many calls a day, and I can only do so much a day as well. And I started to personally plateau, and by bringing in others and empowering them and putting trust in them, it did take a little bit of there was a little bit of a curve there, but ultimately at the end of the day, I'm doing more business. I'm better for it. The branch is better for it. The LOs are better for it. And it's a win-win situation all the way around.
Mike, Landy, or
Vince, I think
Robert. Yeah, right.
I was going to jump in real quick on something because I think this is something else that kind of separates us in the market, and I talk about this a lot as I'm coaching LOs across the country through the Freedom Club, or even my own, or we're having recruiting conversations. I think Greg touched on it, and it's important to accentuate, as you said. It's a tough thing for loan officers to let go, right? Because we're all high Ds. Typically, we want to hold on to our deals. We want to hold our files. And what I find at a lot of places is there's not that level of, first of all, the commitment to the team building, which we talked about, but secondly, there's not that leadership and that guidance and that coaching and the mentorship of people who have been there and done it to say, hey, look, you don't have to do it all. Let me show you the way. Let me build this. What we find at a lot of places is the sales leader, right, is the top producing LO who is now managing the other LOs, but it's not a true leader. It's not a true manager. And that guy would just as soon go get one or two more of his own deals and help you figure yours out. So having that leadership culture and that just that learning and that really, really strong dedication to helping LOs grow their business is a huge difference. And I've got a couple of LOs that we're putting the team in place, and literally on our calls, it's, why are you still doing that? Let it go. Like, you need to take that off your plate and go do this. And when we get that buy-in and that happens, that's when the growth starts.
Well, I know a big thing too that we do is empower our ops people. Like, we have our own ops presidents club. Every time I tell someone that, they're like, I've never heard of that before. You guys all I realize we're nothing without them. They are the yin to our yang, and we will not be able to function without them, right? So if anything, they're more important than we are. So as far as looking into 2021, like, obviously everyone's coming off of their best year ever. The title of this Facebook Live was, how do you level up from your best year ever? So maybe we can just step into, like, what's on the horizon for 2021. How are you going to get there? In a brief little snippet. And what are you leaning on AnnieMac for to contribute to your plan, right? Because you can't do it alone. Greg, you want to take a shot?
Yeah. So, we kind of touched upon this earlier in our call that, purchase business always has and always will be at the forefront for AnnieMac Home Mortgage. It's a sustainable business model. You have to focus on that. It's easy to kind of get wrapped up in low-hanging fruit. And I don't say that as it's not important, because refinance business is fairly important. It helps each and every one of our clients. But that comes and goes with a higher, and lower interest rate environment. So our plan's always been the same, in that we're going to continue to focus on our purchase model. We're going to continue to encourage all of our loan officers to make 5 professional appointments a week. We have a Monday morning meeting every Monday to kind of discuss that. And, our business is a contact sport, and it's quite simple, really. The more people you meet, the better you're going to do. And we stress that to all of our loan officers. In fact, we had a sales call Tuesday, where we had a couple of gentlemen from our company, from other branches, Tony Atullo and Youssef, come in and kind of validate that point to our group, because they're some of our highest producers at AnnieMac. And then to answer your question, Kelsey, as far as the tools, we have an abundance of tools. We use the CRM all the time. I myself personally do a lot of video email. There's just so many things that AnnieMac has to offer. And it's great because, it's a la carte. We all work differently. We all have different skill sets. We all have different things that we're good at. And you can kind of pick and choose what works best for your business and implement that into your daily game plan. So I'm not one to take a step back. It's going to be hard to match what we did last year, but I plan to get more organic growth out of our branch. And I plan to do it through acquisition, through recruiting. And I don't know. I know I could probably speak for the group here in saying that none of us want to take a step back. And I don't think that we will. I really think that we'll continue to propel moving forward. And I'm looking forward to an awesome 2021 and beyond.
Woo! I know you'll hit it. There's no doubt.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, okay. So I think for us, it's about reestablishing the relationships that, COVID has kind of made us completely virtual. All of our transactions are virtual. We're not meeting anybody in person anymore. You know, probably we've lost touch with a lot of our realtor partners because, you know, they don't let us just walk in their office anymore. So I think it's going to be a refocus on, you know, establishing our relationships that maybe we've lost touch with. Recruiting is going to be huge. We've had to hire a bunch of new people to kind of handle all the volume. You know, they're talking about the refinance volume dropping by probably half in 2021, but the purchase business is going to be strong, just like last year, probably similar, maybe a little bit more. So our branch, we've always been a purchase-focused branch, and I think we're just going to capitalize on that, try and recruit a little bit more, and just get back to the basics, really.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, listen, you have to sometimes recognize the areas of weakness to understand where you got to pick up that slack and come back even stronger, right?
Yeah.
How about you, Kev? How about you, Landy?
Does anyone else feel like we're on like Hollywood Squares? I'm sitting here for a while looking at everyone. I want to like do something to Rob's head or something from above here, but
Like the Brady Bunch.
Vince, I just want to put on record. You can quote Janet Jackson all you want, but just when you start going to babyface, we probably won't be. None of us will be in these squares anymore. We'll be.
Oh man, that's
anymore.
he's always coming after my playlist for crying out loud. You know?
It's just that good. You know, but no. So I, for me personally, I might hit it on the head for me. You know, back to the basics. You know, you can't forget how you got here. You know, I think this year was like kind of like a little bit of a reward for all the hard work we've put in for all those years, right? Like a market like this comes around, and we should clean up because it's just a testament to what we've done before that. So. You know, yeah, I hope everybody, you know, advances their lives, gets, you know, their kids' college paid for, you know, pays off a house, puts an addition on, whatever. Like, those are great things that we'll leave this year with. I'm hoping, like, you know, everyone in the industry gets, you know, that feeling. I mean, my wife reminded me this morning while we were watching, you know, cars down the road on the news that are people lined up for food banks, you know, so we're blessed to be in an industry right now where we can help others and still crush goals and meet these financial, you know, gains that we're getting. So it's just amazing. So for me personally, I take 2021 on with, you know, where do you fill the void? Well, you need more real estate agents to get the same business to fill the void, and you need probably some new extra people on your team to help that bottom line production stay the same. And as you know, Kelsey, for us too, like we're not going backwards, right? So those are the two ingredients. You need more team members and more purchase business. And for us, you know, there's 1,000 ways to get there, but those are the two main themes that I think are in front of us. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to bringing some talent your way.
Damn right.
Landy, anything to add?
Yeah. You know, so, you know, obviously, shout out to Kelsey. Kelsey, you know, has done a great job with, you know, bringing talent to our doorstep. You know, we have grown, you know, based on your efforts, you know, so we definitely appreciate you. But yeah, you know, it's synonymous across this group. It's back to basics. You know what I mean? You want the results, you got to put in the reps. We definitely have to an objective for our entire staff to really get out and get after agents. You know what I mean? We have to replace this business with what we know how to do best, and that's purchase business. We are going to, you know, make our focus in all of our branches and all of our offices to, you know, set a goal and really get after it to create new relationships on the purchase side, get back to nurturing the ones that we do have, so that we can take advantage of the 2021 market. I think that, you know, inventory is still a problem in most areas, in most of our markets. Demand is still going to be high. So, you know, we're not looking at it like, all right, well, there's going to be a downturn in business from the refi side. We're looking at the opportunity that's there on the purchase side. So I'm going to put in the reps and try to, you know, replace that refi business with purchase business, and, you know, we're going to make it happen.
Well, listen, you guys make it easy for me. I'll tell you that, you know, bringing people to you guys it's a no-brainer for a lot of our branches, for all of you. And I think, it's sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and you need someone to break it down for them. And sometimes it's not a fit, and sometimes, a lot of times it is. But clearly you guys are on an incredible path. And, how about you, Robert? Where's for you? I know you shared some of your goals, build into $1 billion, and, getting yourself, continuing to scale. Anything you want to add to your 2021?
And that's really it. I mean, we've touched on. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity out there for the people who have a vision and a game plan to attack. So, if there's anyone out there who maybe doesn't have that or doesn't know where to start or to begin, I'm happy to mastermind. I know anyone on this call would be happy to jump on a call with you and mastermind and put some stuff on paper to kind of set you apart. And you touched on it in the beginning, Kelsey, and I think it's so important just to be aware and to share, like, everyone on this call comes just from a place of abundance, right? And it's not about keeping the secret sauce. It's putting it out there, helping everyone grow and get better, and just pushing each other. I love the camaraderie. I love the competition, right? You guys don't see it, but like when we're on our sales calls and they're announcing results, or as the month's closing up, like this group and others in the company, there's a text going on. Where'd you finish? What'd you do? And there's never any animosity, or it's always awesome job, good deal. Like everyone's each other's cheerleader, and that's really important and awesome. So I think that's it. Just make sure that you've got a business plan, you have a plan of attack, and that you are focused, and you hit the ground running and start implementing.
Preach. I love it. So Vince, I'll let you share your goals too. And I know you and I have some goals hand in hand. I could not do what I do without you and your team. The regionals are actually going to be on the next Facebook Live, bringing them in, talking through a lot of their support, really how they contribute. But Vince, your role is very unique. And as you are not only overseeing, you're in the trenches with your people. What's some of your focus, your attention? And if someone's watching this and they're like, I'd love to talk to Vince, what are some of the things that you could share with them?
Yeah. No, I mean, focus absolutely is on organic growth, and getting after and growing that purchase market. My primary focus, ever since I've been in this role, has always been first and foremost to grow the people that we have. Make sure that the people that we have. I always say I want to recruit our people first, right? I want to love on our people first to make sure that they're having success, because when they have success, that breeds more success and attracts more success. So that's always going to be a primary focus. And these guys, said it best. If you're not going after, I saw a statistic here recently, I actually shared with this group, 73% of realtors out there, according to Inman, are reevaluating their mortgage vendor relationship right now. 73%. So all of us, I think we have those great relationships. You may not, and if you need to really go after those. So the way we see that is that's a huge opportunity to go out there and build some more great relationships. So that's obviously going to be focus number one, and then focus two is going to be to add. You got $1 billion of our $2 billion plan, Kels. So we've got a $2 billion plan this year where everyone on this call is going to be participating in and growing in, and you're going to be definitely leading the charge, for us there, Kels, with Paul and the rest of the business development team. So we're excited about that. We're gonna practice what we preach, right? We're gonna grow what we got, and we're gonna get out there and find the next great addition to the family. And we had some awesome additions this year that I'm excited about seeing them in year two, what that looks like, to see some more of those, here in 2021. It's gets me up every day for sure.
Oh, it's so cool. And I'm getting the text as they're all going through transition right now. Thank you. This was the best decision. And that's just that fuels my tank to keep getting out there and finding the right people for us. So guys, this was so powerful. The comments section is blowing up. Anybody want to reach out to any of these guys, hit them up on Facebook. They're all on LinkedIn. You can hit up their cells. Their emails are there, basically first initial and last name at annie-mac.com. Feel free to connect with me. I'll get you on the phone with them. And as always, guys, thanks for being with us. Our viewers did not dip almost this entire time. We kept everybody on the edge of their seats, and I'm grateful for all of you.
Awesome. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers to 2021. Build into $1 billion.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great one.